So continuing on, we're going to be looking at the FX crosses, the spreads on FX crosses. Crosses or minors, they go by different names. Again, what a spread is, it is the difference between the bid and the ask price of a pair. And of course, as a trader, you want to look for the tighter spreads. The tighter the spreads, the better. The lower the less amount of profit or your gain, or less amount of your losses that you'll be getting away. So you can maximize more on your profits with a tighter spread and pay less of your losses or expenses with a tighter spread. So now that we got that out of the way, Osprey offers some fairly decent spreads. So we're going to be using Osprey again as a benchmark for their spreads and see where other currencies or other brokers line up in terms of spreads. So it looks like Pound New Zealand has a bit of a higher spread right off the bat, around 3.2. Let's see what the other Pound New Zealands look like. For the most part though, around 1.5 in terms of spreads. Fairly decent, fairly sort of industry standard per se. So to look at this, we'll be comparing other brokers with these kind of spreads. So next we'll be looking at eToro. And basically another thing to look for, if you want to look for what the other spreads are, just look for any of the crosses other than USD. So notice here USD is not in any of them. These are the crosses of those pairs. So anything not related to USD is a cross. So Euro Pound around 1.5, okay. Euro Yen, Pound Yen around 2, 3. So a bit on the higher end, 5 pips. So it's slightly on the higher end in terms of pips, if you're looking at trading the crosses on eToro. So keep that in mind, a little bit on the higher side. Okay, next up we'll be looking at AvaTrade, looking at these guys. They offer fixed spreads. Also eToro offers fixed spreads as well. How you get there is through trading, and then fees, and then you'll come down to spreads, and then click on CFDs. Then you end up here. CFDs is contract for difference. It's basically it allows you to go long or short on asset. You're able to go short as well as long. So and you can leverage it as well. These are leveraged instruments. AvaTrade also offers fixed spreads. How you get there is through be trading info, and then you go to Forex pairs. You either click on Forex pairs or view all, and you'll end up on their page. So looking at their crosses, 2 pips, what else? 2 pips, 1.8, 1.5. Let's see. Let us go to show all. Okay. Let's see, New Zealand Swiss, 3.3. Let's look at Pound New Zealand. Pound New Zealand, 5.2. So Pound New Zealand seems to be pretty high overall. Let's see what Pound New Zealand has here. Is 4 pips. Okay, fairly decent. But for the most part, AvaTrade offers slightly higher spreads. They do not offer pay or charge any commission. So in a way, their commission or their pricing is embedded into their spread. So that's why it's a little bit higher. Very similar to eToro. Next up, we'll be looking at is OspreyFX. All right, so how you get there is through trading stocks and pairs, and then you end up down here, click on FX crosses, and these are the crosses. So again, very similar to Osprey, 1.4, 1.3, 1.5, around the 1.5 range, maybe around 0.7. Waiting for these to update. There we go. They're not updating as quickly, but yeah, Pound New Zealand 3.1. Okay, so fairly decent, fairly competitive compared to Osprey. Okay, next we'll be looking at Octa. Okay, and Octa FX. How you get there is FX trading. Go to spreads and conditions. You end up on this beautiful white page here, and you can see what their crosses look like. So Euro Pound, okay, around 2 pips. Euro Yen 1.7, 1.3. Okay, so between 1 and 2 pips. Pound Swiss 3.6, Pound New Zealand 3.7. Okay, so fairly the same. They do not charge any swaps, meaning if you hold these trades over the weekend, you won't be paying any overnight fees or anything like that. So there's that. Just keep that in mind. So they kind of price that into their spread. So compared to Osprey, they're a little bit on the higher end. slightly on the higher end, not too much, around 1.5-ish. So they're still pretty competitive. For the most part, these are all fairly competitive. I would say eToro, Avatrade are a bit on the higher side. Next, let's look at FX View. And FX View, they're an ECN broker. All these other brokers, except for Avatrade and eToro, are ECN brokers. ECN, meaning electronic communication network. It's a really fast model of trading, quick execution, and all that fun stuff. Okay, so you get there by trading, our trading conditions. You end up on this page here, and you can see Euro Yen looks like around 449, 447 points, around, looks like I would say 0.6, 0.5, fairly tight. So these are also very tight spreads. Euro CAD 0.6, 0.6 pip. Let's see what else. Pound Yen, okay, very tight as well. 98, 98.6, that's fairly tight. 0.6. Okay, what is let's look at the benchmark. Pound New Zealand. Let's do a search. Search will be quicker. NZD. Let's see, what is that? What are they at? 9082, 9084. So around 2 pips. Okay, so still, I mean, it's slightly the same, but 1 pip lower than the rest. So that's pretty good. So FX View, again, really competitive in terms of their spreads on even on this one, on the crosses. Okay, and then FP Markets. Let's look at the crosses here. Aussie Yen 1.8, Aussie Swiss 1.8, around 2 pips. CAD Swiss around 1.8. Okay, so around your Aussie 2. So between around 2 pips is the average on this one. And looking at the standard account, this one will pay you, well, you don't have to pay any commission, so that's kind of priced into their spreads. Whereas if you go for the raw ECN, you do get lower spreads, but pay a bit more of a commission. So it kind of works out to be the same. Depending on what type of trader you are. If you are a long-term trader, then spreads maybe won't play as big of a factor because you're looking at larger pip gains. But if you're looking at lower pip gains and lower time frames, maybe a 5-minute to 1 minute, maybe 15 or less than that, or around there, then you would care a lot more about tighter spreads and be focused more on tight spreads than anything. Seems like FX View is the front runner in terms of the crosses, the FX crosses. Their spreads are very competitive, and they charge $1 commission per lot, and I think that is round turn. So it's pretty competitive, pretty good ECN type account, as you can see here, highly traded. So anyways, hope that helps. Cheers.